I'm Dr. Kait Chang, naturopathic doctor and menopause wellness practitioner. Are you experiencing hot flashes and night sweats? I have a really great recipe for you today. It's called green smoothie for menopause women or for hot flashes. And I have posted two other recipes. One is called rhubarb crisp and the other flaxseed bar. They're all posted on my blog, and you can find the recipe for this particular smoothie as well on my blog. And this recipe is really great for hot flashes and night sweats, but personally for me, even for people without hot flashes, it's a really great recipe to help modulate estrogen. So let's first start with introducing the ingredients. Number one is some kale and cilantro, and they're about a handful each. So the kale is a great brassica family vegetable, just like broccoli. It helps with preventing breast cancer and ovarian cancer, as well as endometrium, colorectal cancer. So those cancers are at higher risk, actually not ovarian. So breast cancer, endometrial cancer, and colorectal cancer risks are increased in menopause, and so adding the kale there really helps with that. The cilantro is a cooling herb, and so when we're going through menopause with hot flashes and night sweats, the cilantro can act to cool your temperature. As well, cilantro is a heavy metal chelator, so if there is any heavy metal in your body, the cilantro will help with that. Although if you do have a heavy metal problem in your health, or if there's high levels of heavy metal, then you do want to see someone who can help chelate that. But cilantro is really great for that. Another thing I want to mention, since we're talking about metals, iron levels. If you are having more iron level in your blood than you used to have in your premenopausal days, iron is a heat conductor. So since we stop menstruating in menopause, you'll find that you have more iron built up in your blood. And when that happens, if in excess, you will be feeling more hot in general. So that's one thing to look at if you're experiencing crazy amounts of hot flashes and night sweats. And then the next ingredients I want to go over is blueberries. Blueberries are really high in antioxidants, so they help with your skin as well as in reducing the inflammation in your body, which we know that when we enter menopause, our cholesterol tends to increase, and blueberries can help with that. I have these blueberries from my summer season, and I tend to find that I cannot finish my blueberries, so I just rinse them and I freeze them in the freezer, and they freeze really well. So these are from my summer blueberries, but you can always get them frozen if they're not in season. Well, in the winter they're not in season anyway, so I recommend getting the frozen blueberries. Next is flax seeds, and I am using 2 tablespoons of flax seeds, flaxseed meal, you can get flax seeds and grind them up in your blender or in your coffee grinder. But these ones, flaxseed meal, I just get them from Costco. I really recommend having flax seeds in your pantry. Once you open them, you want to keep them in the fridge, okay, to keep them fresh. But I really recommend for menopausal women to keep flax seeds meals or flax seeds around in the house, as they are really high in antioxidants. So flax seeds has something called lignans. Lignans are phytoestrogen modulators, phytoestrogens, and phytoestrogen are estrogen modulators. What that means is if your body doesn't have enough estrogen the phytoestrogen will help to strengthen the estrogen in your body, in that it increases the binding between estrogen and estrogen receptors. Basically, it increases the level of estrogen in your body if you're lack of estrogen. So phytoestrogen helps with that. If your body has too much estrogen, which can be harmful to, like I said, about the cancer risks, so that can increase different kinds of cancer, breast, colorectal, and endometrial cancer. Phytoestrogen is helpful in reducing the estrogen amount in your body. I'm sorry, I'm speaking a little bit fast. I'll slow down now. The next thing I want to talk about, oh, before I forget, flax seeds. So a lot of people, they don't like the flax. Actually, I don't like the flax seeds when they're raw. I like to toast them sometimes before I grind them. And there has been findings that toasting flax seeds does not change the properties of the lignans, which is the phytoestrogens. It also doesn't change the properties of the alpha lipoic acid. So if you're not a fan of flax seeds, I would say toast them, and sometimes I would just eat them straight from the tub. The next ingredient you'll need is about half of an avocado. Avocado is rich in vitamin E, and vitamin E can be really useful for people with breast tenderness, okay? And that's pretty common in menopause or perimenopause. The next thing I want to talk about is the tahini, which is sesame paste. You can get this in the international aisle. Some other aisles probably has it, but I always find this tub in that aisle, and it's 100% pure sesame seeds. Sesame seeds is rich in vitamin B6, and that's really good for eliminating excess estrogen. As well, it helps to increase the production of serotonin and melatonin, which are really important in menopause because we need our sleep, and a lot of menopausal women have issues with sleep. Another thing that sesame has is calcium, and in menopause we tend to not retain calcium as well as when we're young because we're losing the estrogen. So estrogen helps the retention of calcium in our body. So adding a bit more calcium in your body in menopause is very helpful with that and keeps our bone healthy, right? And the next thing is tofu. So I buy these tofu from Superstore. They come in a box. They usually have 2 blocks. For this recipe, if you're just having a smoothie, a snack, you only need half of a block. If you're having having a full meal like your breakfast smoothie, I recommend taking the full block. Okay. The most important thing is you have to cook your tofu. This tofu, let me get back to that later, but this tofu is a medium firm. Do not get the extra firm for this recipe. You can always go for the smooth, soft one, but I like the medium firm because it's a bit higher in protein content. So let's go back to cooking your tofu. You need to, so once you open this box and take out your tofu block, you want to boil it in water, so cook that. The reason is if you don't, the tofu, when it's raw, it can cause a lot of bloating, so that's no good, right? So here I've already got it cooked, and I usually cook a batch once I open the box, and I usually cook both of them, and then I just store them away once they're cooled, and I put them in the fridge and I can use it the next day. Okay? All right, I believe that's everything I have. You'll need water as well for your smoothie. You can also use coconut milk or almond milk, soy milk if you prefer. Oh, one thing maybe I should mention, soy is not the best option for people with thyroid dysfunction, so either hypo or hyperthyroidism. For people who have thyroid issues, I recommend replacing tofu with a can of chickpea, half a can or a full can, okay? For me personally, this is not for menopausal women, but I wanted to share with you my little secret is ginger powder. So for people before menopause or premenopause, ginger is a really great addition to the smoothie because it warms your gut, so it's not so harsh with all the cold ingredients. So I just use 1 teaspoon of ginger powder. For menopausal women experiencing hot flashes, you can eliminate the ginger powder entirely because sometimes that can increase your internal heat and cause hot flashes or night sweats. So let's go ahead and start this recipe, okay? So first, I would add the ginger powder in there. Let me just, can you see? I hope you can see. Ginger powder is in, and then the flax seeds. I like to add the powdery stuff in the bottom or first, because then they're not kind of floating on the top while you're blending. And then we'll do the tofu block. You'll notice that your tofu tends to seep out water. That water you can just throw out, okay? That's just the way tofu is formed. It needs some moisture, and that moisture tends to seep. It's just like cheese when you're making cheese. And so the next thing you need is blueberries. And then we have avocado. You can use a full avocado. Some people find them filling. I definitely don't find them filling. I would take the full avocado if I'm really hungry, but what's wrong with extra great omega-9 rich fats? Okay, and the next thing is some sesame paste, which is tahini. This brand says tahina, but it's tahini. It's just a variation, I believe, in the way they pronounce it. So you'll see that the tahini, when you open it, it's like peanut butter. It has that oil sitting on top. So you just want to go in, and you can, some of the oil will stay on your spoon, I guess. So yeah, just 1 teaspoon or tablespoon. Sorry about that. And just make sure all of that is in there. Right. So the next thing is ice water. For menopausal women who are dealing with hot flashes and night sweats, I say ice water is perfect. And you can add some ice cubes to change the texture or the smoothness of the smoothie. But for me personally, because I'm drinking this myself, I like a bit of warmness because there's a lot of cold ingredients. So I use warm water, and I fill it pretty much covering about there, and then if we need, we'll add more water. So let's go ahead and blend this. And so we'll do that. So the smoothie is finished now. Consistency is pretty thin already, so I don't need to add any more water. So I'm going to give it a try. I think if you have it with cold water, it will be really refreshing. I usually have this as part of my morning breakfast, and I find that just half block of the tofu does not last me the whole morning, so I usually have some snacks with me if I really need to, but it's a really great way to also cut back out the calories, especially in the holiday season. You'll be eating quite a lot at parties, so this is a kind of a great way to keep your blood sugar nice and moderate level while you wait for your big meal at the end of the day. All right, that's it. I'm gonna try it. There's no sweetness to it at all, so you can definitely add some honey if you like, pasteurized honey. And then I think that's it. So do make sure to check out my blog with the 3 recipes for hot flashes and menopause in general. And if you have any questions, make sure to leave your question in the comment box below the recipes. All right? Happy holiday, everyone, and take care.